stage to Jason Manns. He said, I should talk to you about it on stage because this would be a good place for us to have this conversation. He said maybe he should play me on sometime in a real sensual acoustic solo. How do we feel about that as a band? Would that be something we'd be
So we're talking about a sensual acoustic solo.
Just Jason Manns out here.
Just Jason Manns.
Yeah.
And then I walk out.
Right.
Jake,
It's something to workshop.
will you be clothed or not?
Well, that'll be the surprise.
That's the surprise. Okay.
We'll talk about it in private.
Personally, I want to
You
see
seem
it.
fine with it.
Yeah. I'm a fan.
You had us at sensual.
Thank you guys. Loud and swing. Give it up. One more time. Give it up. Oklahoma City. Jesus Christ. One more time. Give it up. Oh, golly. How's everyone's weekend? Wow, that's a lot of enthusiasm on a Sunday. Very good. Well, I've had a great time. I flew in yesterday, had a 45-minute connection in Dallas, and I said, one thing can't happen, a delay. Guess what happened? A 45-minute delay. It was perfect. So I hopped in a car in Dallas, and I drove here 3 hours just to be here with you guys. I saw some cows, and there was a dog in the road. Yeah, there was a dog in the road. It was a really good-looking dog, but I was like, there's no time! People need me. I hope the dog's okay. He was loving the cars a lot. We were in the back road, luckily. It was like the back farm road. He was so excited to see all of these cars. It really scared me. I'm sure he was fine. Anyway, think about that. Let's start over here. Me too. Hi.
Hi, Kate.
Hello.
I'm Megan.
Hi, Megan. I know. I remember. Megan with an H.
Yes, Megan with an H. So I grew up watching you in Percy Jackson and the Host, but
Yes.
in the last couple of years you were in a movie called Malignant, which you might remember.
I remember. Yeah.
But I was wondering if you could be in any other horror movie. Was there a specific one you would be in?
If I could be in any other horror movie, what would it be? Ooh, like one that's already been made?
Or not made? If you want to make one too.
I do want to make one, actually. I've been wanting to make one for a long time, and I have I've kicked around a few ideas. Like in my family, my grandma and grandpa lived in a farmhouse in Ohio. Spooky already. And it was haunted, like really severely haunted when my dad was a kid. And so we have all of these stories that we have told in our family throughout the years about how the rocking chair would rock by itself. The walls would stain this red, not blood, but drip and stain. You could hear a baby crying in the cellar. The guy who owned it was a judge many years before. And something happened in the house. And so there was was it this? So I've always been captivated by the story of our family's farmhouse. And so I also love practical effect horror films. And so someday I would love to make a feature-length spooky movie with practical effects. So when I figure out what that is, that'll be the one.
Thank you.
Thank you. The farmhouse, Ohio, terrifying.
Hello.
Hi.
So obviously I loved you in the Percy Jackson movies and in Supernatural, and so it's I grew up with those movies.
Y'all gotta stop saying you grew up with my movies. It's not the compliment you think it is.
You know the blue for the worm stash? Okay,
No, it's fine. I look great, so it doesn't even matter.
So they only had giant worms, so this is gonna be really.
If you could revisit
Yeah, I told you
one
about
of the
this.
two roles, either as Adam or as Luke, which one would you prefer to revisit? Which one did you have more fun with?
Well, that's people keep asking me that question all this weekend. It feels like entrapment. This is technically a supernatural convention. It's hard to say because I had so much fun on both. I loved making the Percy Jackson films because I got to fly for a living. I did a lot of wire work. At this age, that's not as exciting. That just hurt my hips and stuff. So, but it was when I was 20. Man, that was a lot of fun. I mean, I was in a harness every day, or not every day, but most of the days, and it was just thrilling to do that. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that I booked Supernatural and Percy Jackson at the same time, basically. So I was on set of Jump the Shark, my first episode, with the Percy Jackson script. So in between setups, I was going back to my trailer, and I was prepping to go film Percy Jackson right after it. So it's this, I've discovered here at conventions as well, there's this really interesting crossover between those two fandoms. And I think it I bring families together is what I think it is, because under one household, you have like the adults who are watching Supernatural, and then their kids who are watching Percy Jackson, and then the parents watch that as you know, by proxy, and then when the kids got older, some of you start your kids very young, introduce them to Supernatural. So they're quite close to me together, and I had a great time making both of them. Thank you. Some of y'all bring your small children to the table, and I'm like, do you watch Supernatural? And they're like, uh-huh. I'm like, and you're not scared? And like, uh-uh. Amazing. My 4-year-old, oh, hi.
Hi, Jake.
Hi.
So my best friend actually found out that you were going to be here.
Where's your best friend?
She is at home in Texas.
Okay.
But I told her that you were going to be here, and she was like, oh my God, you have to ask him this question for me.
Okay.
So she wants to know, did you actually read the Percy Jackson books? And if you did, how did you feel about the script?
Fun fact about me, I'm illiterate. Can't read it. No, I did not read the books. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, there wasn't much time by the time I booked it and we were up getting ready to film it. So there's that excuse. The more legitimate excuse is that, like, for me, because I've done a lot of adaptations of books into movies. For whatever reason, you know, the host, I'm number 4, The Lovely Bones, Percy Jackson movies, and I'm sure I'm missing some. And as you all know, sometimes the books don't translate into the visual medium of film, so it changes, it does change. And so I let the script be the Bible, and let that sort of be what we're working on. However, I try to understand what's important to the character from the book. So for example, in the Percy Jackson films, Luke has a scar on his face. I was aware of that, and I was aware of how he got it and all of that. And for me, it told me a lot about his character and why he does the things he does. So I fought for that as much as I could, and the studio ultimately overruled it, and we're like, we're not gonna put a big scar on your face. So the compromise was the final fight scene with Percy in the first film. He gets me with the sword, like just right here. And so we set that up so in the sequel I could have the scar, a little scar right here, and that was a compromise. So that's kind of what I try to do is, if I don't have time to read it, understand quickly what's most important, what's important to people who love the books, and then fight for those things, and then you know, go from there.
Awesome.
Was that your question? I feel like I went on a tangent. I think that was your question.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I do also want to say that those cows that you saw in Texas,
Yeah.
probably my hometown.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Are you near Dallas?
I am like right next to 35. So,
Oh, nice,
yeah,
nice.
so, like,
Nice cows, nice cows.
Hello.
Hi.
In Supernatural, we see a lot of times where characters end up becoming monsters, such as like DJ's character became a werewolf. So
And he already is a monster, so.
My question for you is, if they come to you and ask you what monster your character should turn into, which one would you choose, and how do you feel your character would have reacted?
Man, what monster would I want to turn into? Do you have like a monster in your monsterverse that's your favorite?
I mean, like just about everything.
I would like to be a what's the thing that has the snake for a tail and a lion's head and a
Chimera.
say it louder?
Oh yeah, Chimera?
Chimera?
Chimera.
Yeah, Chimera, but with my face. big snake tail and just me. Rawr. That's what I would be. Yeah, thanks. I would talk to my snake tail.
Hi Jake,
Hello.
my name's Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
My question is actually, I watched Emmy, and she said to ask you about the windshield wiper movie you did.
What about it?
How was it, and is it a good movie?
Well, you described it as the windshield wiper movie, so it kind of sounds like a pretty good movie to me. The movie she's referring to is called Flash of Genius, and it's a true story. This is for the dads in the audience. If there's any dads in the audience, I see a dad right there. You're gonna love this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's a true story. It's about the guy who invented the intermittent windshield wiper. So the reason your windshield wipers go at different intervals is because of this guy, Kearns. I played Dennis Kearns. I can't remember the guy's name. Played by Greg Kinnear. It's about how Ford stole his patent successfully. Yeah! Woo! Go for it. But it's like this family drama, this true story about the guy who invented the intermittent windshield wiper. And I actually loved making that film. Mark Abraham is the director, and he's a producer and a great friend. Tatiana Maslany went on to have like this amazing career, and I just ran into her recently when I was in LA. We were like young and filming it in Toronto during the Toronto International Film Festival, and we tried to sneak into as many after parties that we were not invited to as we could. We got really close to Sean Penn's party for Into the Wild. We did not make it past security, but we tried. So yeah, that's Flash of Genius. All the dads, go ahead, look it up. It's a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. When you were reading the first script for your first episode of Supernatural, did you guess that you were a ghoul and that Adam was already dead, or was that a complete surprise?
I had no idea what was going on.
I was curious.
I got to set and was like, wait, what? I'm trying to think when I auditioned for it. I don't remember what scenes they gave me. So I'm not sure how where I was. I didn't know much about the show, to be honest, when I had booked it. And when I did, I was talking to a friend of mine at the time, and I was like, I don't know much about this show. And she was like, I love this show. And she had the DVDs, and she was like, come over to my apartment. Like, I want to show you some episodes. And she showed me the clown episode and a couple others. But my biggest takeaway was I didn't realize how funny the show was. I assumed that like I wasn't the demographic for some reason. I was like, two super handsome dudes. On CW, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And then I watched it and was like, holy shit, this is definitely for me. I'm excited to go be on this show. So yeah, there was a lot of discoveries coming into this world. But it was a very cool opportunity because, again, like I said, I love practical effects. So practical effects, if you don't know, are things that happen in camera that you don't have to use like CGI or anything later on. So for instance, when it's revealed that my body has been eaten and they open that casket, that's a false bottom casket, very old trick, where there's like room for my neck, my body's underneath this like beautifully made, like eaten out carcass. I live for that shit. It's so cool, it's so effective. So I really reveled in like that kind of play. And that's why I love this show, is because they did so much of that. Yeah. Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Courtney, and I just wanted to ask, having been in Percy Jackson, how much either you knew about Greek mythology going into that, or how much you took away, and whether or not, because Greek mythology related, have you heard of Epic the musical?
No, but someone out there has. Funny enough, so the time that I was spending not reading the book was actually studying up on Greek mythology. That's kind of what I chose to delve into. I got a book on that and was just sort of getting into that. and which was really exciting because then when we went on the press tour, we stopped in Athens, Greece. We did a bit of press there. We got to tour the Parthenon, and it was like, having been in this world, it was such a nice gift to be able to go do that. And at that time, I felt really well versed in Greek mythology. Since then, it's gotten kind of fuzzy, but that's the other takeaway from doing those series, which has been nice, is that I found all these years later, those movies have introduced young people to reading and Greek mythology, which was the whole point of writing that series. And so that's also been a bit of a gift. And what is this musical that you speak of?
Epic the Musical is like a concept album that just recently came out, based on the Odyssey. It's an entire like 9-part musical based off of the Odyssey.
Wow.
It's super good. You should
That's
definitely
very cool.
listen to it.
I will check that out. Thank you.
Definitely should.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Boo.
Well, got me. Am I did I boo you? Is that the one that booed you? Oh, that's cute. We have a thing now. That was a real meat spook. Yeah.
It's terrifying. So like, did you not see what just happened? I was like,
I get you. You guys have your toes out there. I'm lurking. Anyway, what's up?
what was kind of your general reaction to finding out you're kind of between like the Michael Lucifer like backup kind of thing?
The backup?
Well, not like the backup, but it was like they were very independent.
You mispronounced the best one.
Yeah, that.
I owned that shit. So I crushed it. What I was most excited about was coming back as Adam with Michael, having spent 10 years together in a cage. When people ask like, what would you like? I wish you were around. I wish it would have been different. And I'm like, I kind of like the way it played out. For me personally, like when I read that script when I came back, instantly I was like, these guys have been alone for 10 years. There's a very specific relationship that they've created, and as a performer, I feel like that gave me a playground that none of the other Michaels and whatever got to have. And to create such a personal, intimate relationship between two people sharing one vessel. So I was excited. I was excited that Richard Spade, who directed that episode, let me try to switch in between them without cuts and without special effects in the eyes and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you. These lines are getting shorter, folks.
Hey Jake, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Very simple question. If you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Jesus.
I know, I'm sorry.
I don't know, that's good. I respect it. I've never gotten that one up here. I've gotten some thinkers, but that one was good.
Thank you.
If I was on death row, what did I do? First of all, you have to answer me a question.
Me?
Yeah. What did I do to end up on death row?
Took down a country?
I took down a country? Am I
Big, I don't know.
I took down a country. Now they're like, we gotta kill that guy. That's a bad dude. Okay, I wiped out a country single-handedly. I'm now on death row, and I'm starving. Oh man, I'm gonna eat the worst, just the chili and awful stuff. So that way, when they execute me, I just shit everywhere. And those jerks gotta clean it up and get the last laugh. And that's how I'm going down, baby.
That was the right answer.
Thank you. Whoa, check you out.
Hi.
Nice.
Thank you. I am a huge horror movie buff.
All right.
And I was wondering if you were to play any horror movie character or villain/monster, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's a very good question. It's hard. It's really hard to pick something classic. So I just did a film called The Red Mask, and it sort of plays into that world where in this movie world there is a very famous slasher character called the Red Mask. And so he's like a Mike Myers or a Freddy Krueger. Like in our world, it's a famous franchise that has been overcooked and fizzled out over the years. And now this young female writer has been tasked to like breathe new life into it and bring it back. And so she role plays with her partner to try to come up with ideas that were fresh. Like they dress up like Red Mask, role play, so they try to come up with something original that hasn't been done before. And of course they're doing this out in the house in the woods for some reason. And then one night you hear, and who's at the door? Me and my girlfriend, who just happened to love the Red Mask movies. And we want to make sure that she's making it correctly. So there's a lot of pressure in like revitalizing something that's been very, very famous. So there's got to be a good one here. Or something that hasn't been done, because like playing Mike Myers would be too easy because it's just a lot of this. It's kind of natural, actually. Do you have an idea?
I do.
Great.
I
What am I
thought about it
talking?
in mine. I think you'd make a great young Ed Warren in the Conjuring movies.
Keep going. I'm not. The Godry movies?
No, the Conjuring movies.
Oh,
Young Ed Warren.
Conjuring.
The Paranormal Investigator.
Yeah, of course. James Wan films. He did Malignant. Yeah.
Yes, I love James Wan.
Hell yeah, let's do that. I would do that. Those Conjuring worlds are so good. That's actually a really good. That's a really good point. But then that would have to be based. Is it set in current time? I feel like these Conjuring movies were set.
It's in the 70s
70s.
/ early 80s.
So then that would put me like in the 60s,
Yeah, but you
late
could pull that off.
50s. Yeah, no, I'm saying that's cool actually, because I know them, and that's a good idea. I'll send you a commission check when I make it. Thanks. That's a really good idea, actually. Oh, I'm about to email somebody. Hello.
Hey, my name's Dante. It's great
Hi,
to meet
Dante.
you.
Nice to meet you.
So, quick question: if you had to pit two of your favorite roles together to fight,
Okay.
for instance, let's go with Adam, 10 years in the cage,
Yeah.
and Luke, late game in the Lightning Thief series. Which one do you think would win?
Probably the demigod, I'd imagine.
Think so?
Yeah, he's a demigod. And Adam's kind of soft.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, wait, it's a good question. Does Adam have Michael with him?
He does.
Oh, okay, now we gotta fight. But Michael is hampered by the flesh and blood body of Adam. Doesn't have super strength. So I'm gonna have to circle back and go with Luke, but Michael's gonna be super pissed about it. Are weapons allowed?
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. Get all flaming sword action. I'm going back to Michael on that one. If we can have weapons, hand-to-hand combat, no holds barred. Yeah, Adam and Michael are getting dirty. Thank you. Thanks. These are good questions today.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I totally blinked. Okay, yeah. I was wondering, what inspired you to get into acting?
I was gonna make a joke, but should have just done it. What inspired me? I think Jim Carrey. Actually, yeah. Like any young boy in the late '90s, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective was top tier. Even to the point when I moved to LA, I was 15 and a half, and I remember someone asking me not challenging me, but sort of being like, what are your favorite movies? And I was like, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. And you could just see oh, he's got so far to go. But it was true. I think I wrote him a letter once, even I was that obsessed, and I don't know where, I think my parents pretended to send it somewhere. I don't know that they actually found an address. But I was obsessed. And so that was early on what I think it was there. And then I would film skits and stuff with friends in middle school and use my parents' camera, and I taught myself stop motion animation and things like that. And then my freshman year of high school, I got into improv at the Charleston Stage Theater in South Carolina. And that is what finally, like all of that stuff that was building up, that's what finally like sort of put it all together and created this big bag for me. And then that was 20 years later, I'm on this stage in Oklahoma City. And thank you. Thanks. Hello, it's your turn.
Hello. I'm gonna throw it back a little bit, but not too far.
I thought you were gonna say you were gonna throw up. I was like, well, you're not in death row, so don't waste it. Sorry. Throw it back.
Do your comments about Omegaverse ever haunt you?
Well, they clearly still are. The problem is, I get on the stage and I say things I very well shouldn't. But I also can't help myself. 4 years ago, I made a big deal about my nipples being hard on stage. That followed me around for a couple of years.
I have a photo of that in my house.
In your house?
Someone gifted it to me. The person that took the photo gifted it to me. I have a copy of it in my house.
Wow. You're here for all the hits. Should we give them all the backstory? So we were in Vegas and it was very cold, much like it was here today. My nipples were also hard today. Not right now so much, but earlier. I was backstage with Gabe Tigerman, who's a modest fellow. And I was telling him, I was like, Gabe, my nipples are really hard right now. And he was like, whoa, we just met. And I was like, no, it's just like it's cold and I'm gonna get on stage and everyone's gonna notice. And he was like, no, we should, but just ignore it. And I was like, this isn't going away, Gabe. We need to address it on stage. And so we did, and it ended up, Gabe and Sam Smith interviewed my hard nipples on stage in Vegas, because where else would you do such a thing? My mom watches these sometimes. But I have a rule in life that I have adopted, that I have to have fun first. If I'm having fun first, and hopefully you guys are too, but that means I have to talk about my nipples every once in a while, then damn it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get in the car, I'm gonna drive 3 hours from Dallas, I'm gonna get on this stage, and I'm gonna talk about my hard nipples. This is the kind of guy I am. Better or worse? Thank you.
You also
God.
objectified my friend's giant pancake in Vegas. So
Giant pancake, that's what we call it.
It was a giant pancake. It's like the size of a pizza.
Let's not talk about the size of your friend's pancake in front of all these people. Well, it was nice being on tour with you guys this year, but...
Hello.
Hi.
My name's Dakota, and I was just wondering, out of any movie franchise, TV show, book series, what would be your dream role to play?
Oh, man. These are questions that I should have answers to. Well, you know, the smart move here is to find yourself a Mission Impossible sized franchise. Something that you can just rely on, just decade after decade. You know, like I need to find my Jason Bourne, so I can just be like, yeah, I got that lined up. I can do cool movies in between and do these, so I don't know what that is. Maybe it's early verse Conjuring stuff. But the things I like, I don't know, like for adaptations, they're doing this. It breaks my heart because I'm not in it, but people who are doing it are friends and they're great. But like, my favorite author is John Steinbeck. So they're doing East of Eden right now, into a miniseries, and that's one of my favorite books. So the only thing left for me to, I think, do is remake Grapes of Wrath. I just don't think there's an audience for that in 2025. But that's the kind of stuff I like. I like big American epics, like There Will Be Blood and stuff like that. I know it's not a franchise, but whatever franchise has can be shot in just a huge aspect ratio and is epic and rugged, whatever that is, that's what I want to do. So find it for me and tell me what it is. Thanks.
Hey Jake, that's That's what my voice sounds like. That's awful. I'm so sorry.
It's weird, right?
It
Not
is
your
weird.
voice. Your voice isn't weird. It's just weird to be here for the first
Yeah,
time.
it is.
No one's judging you, I promise. No one's judging you.
Thank you. I was just wondering, would you grace us again with the videos you make on, I don't know what social media it is, if it's YouTube or just Instagram, but of you playing Michael and yourself? I think there might be some like cooking or...
Well, yeah, I was selling hot sauce. Yeah.
You should make something else and do some more videos. Or
Sounds
not,
good.
just, introduce Michael to different things.
Well, the thing about that is it takes me a while. A lot of production value. So I don't know if you've seen that, but so I was working with Stans, which is a great company that works with artists to make merchandise, and the proceeds go to the charity. And it's a really fun, you get to be really involved in making stuff. And so I was doing all this cooking stuff during COVID, and so we first did spices, and we sold spices. And then we came up with hot sauce, which was the box set is super cool. I have two of them at home. And so in order to tell people hey, we have hot sauces, I filmed a Hot Ones series, but with myself as Adam and Michael back and forth, and it ended with me pouring milk all over my face. And my wife came upstairs and was just like, all right. So I was like, trust me. And then she was like, that was really good. But I don't have any plans to do it anytime soon. But they were fun to make.
Well, you could segue into barbecue sauce.
Ooh, hey, we could. Just slather my body with barbecue sauce. It's the only thing that's left. Hey now, easy Oklahoma City. I know you like your barbecue.
I didn't suggest that. That was all you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brittany. I wanted to ask what it was like filming The Host, and how did you first enter the world of Stephanie Meyer's works?
Yeah, good for Stephanie Meyer. So how was it filming The Host?
What was it like filming The Host?
Well, I mean, it's one of those dream jobs because it was my second film that I did with Saoirse Ronan, who is a dear friend and a fantastic actress. And that cast was so stacked. I mean, I got to work with William Hurt before he passed on. The director Andrew Niccol, I worked with him twice, and I adore him. He did Gattaca. He's just unbelievable. So every day I felt so lucky to be a part of that cast. And then getting to know Stephanie, who her and her producer partner Megan, I was just texting them actually today. That they've remained really close friends in my life, and that doesn't always happen. For me personally, it doesn't always happen that I stay in touch with people that I work with, and I have a few of those that have carried on, and so that's my biggest takeaway from them. But also, it's just the set that we built, the cave. Most of that was actually real. Right? That wasn't real. Was the very top of the roof, but it was almost twice as high as this room. It was huge. It was cavernous. So it was just fun. And then from then, like I said, Stephanie and I remained close. And she asked me to narrate her book, Midnight Sun. And that took forever. That's a very big book. 25 hours and 45 minutes, I think, is the final runtime on that book. Yeah, that's how. I also didn't read The Host. But I had to read Midnight Sun because of the audiobook. Thank you. Hello.
How's it going? My name's Seth. I'm not super familiar with the Percy Jackson movie. It's been a while, but
Oh, yes, it has been a while.
yeah, sorry about that.
Did you grow up on it?
I sure did. Now, would you say that his villain arc started whenever he took Annabelle?
I think his villain arc started with his daddy issues, personally.
That's fair.
Yeah. I play a lot of guys with daddy issues. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I should see a therapist.
I got you. I get it. No.
Thank you. Oh God. These microphone lines are so short. I have no material prepared. All right. right, let's see how long I can do this one. Hi. Give me a good one.
I'm Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
So my question is, I wanted to know if you had any funny or either on or off set interactions with Jared, Jensen, or Misha.
I didn't get pranked a lot on the show. I think they're afraid of me. I walked on set and established my dominance day one like prison yard. That pro stuff, you know? Gang gang. And so they left me alone. Except for the time that Jared trapped me in the booth, farted and yelled, "I am Farticus." I don't know if that was so much funny then as it is now. I feel like then there was no, I don't think I was there enough to be pranked, so it was just a lot of smaller moments that I don't remember. I tell a story a lot. It's like the one thing I recall the most, and it's not funny or anecdotal, but when I went into the pit, we filmed that scene, like that was the last day of that episode, so we wrapped that episode, and I was gonna be leaving the show for, didn't know 10 years, but for a little while. And so Jared and Jensen invited me back to their one of their trailers, and we climbed on top of their trailer, and we each had a beer, and the sun was going down. Jared's dogs were running in the field at this location that we had that was really beautiful, and that's how we ended it. And it just felt they've been good role models for how to operate and run a set and how to be welcoming, and so I was lucky to have that at such a young age. And yeah, they're good guys. Damn it. Handsome and good. Come on. Enough. Good. Thanks. Anytime Jensen sings, I'm like, really? They dumped all the sugar in your cookies? Great. Whatever. Big deal. Sorry, I'm just panicking because the lines are so short. Thank you. But really, have you heard him sing Whipping Post? Screw that guy. That's bullshit. And I say this to his face. I don't think that he's gonna be a big singer later. He knows how I feel. Hey.
Hi, my name's Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee.
So I grew up on Percy Jackson.
Another one.
The books were great.
Thanks. But the movies were great.
I have my thoughts.
Okay.
Do you wish that they had continued the movies, or were you kind of happy that they stopped?
No, I had a significant pay raise on that third one. I was really looking forward to that one. We were contracted to do 3. We were contracted to do 3. But we always knew. You always know that that's never a guarantee. And the films were successful, but there was a bit of I think a precedent that if they weren't as successful as Twilight or Harry Potter or something that was just a smash, then it just became harder to justify doing more. It takes a lot. It's very expensive. I do wish we made more just because they were so fun and because we were close as a cast. But I get it. But my takeaways were that I had a great time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I will say, your character brought me into what I am now in as an adult in romantasy.
Romantasy?
Yeah.
I brought you into romantasy?
Yes. So
How?
I started out in fantasy genre,
Uh-huh.
and now as an adult I'm in romantasy era, I guess. So
Romantic fantasy.
I got it. I don't know what romantasy is. I'm an actor, not an idiot.
I can read.
So you played it well.
Thank you. You see, I am getting better at not just saying anything that pops into my brain. Already? Oh, that flew. I was just getting started.
We missed your cowbell.
Oh, I miss my cowbell. Oh, I do play the shit out of some cowbell.
Yes, you do. Oh yeah, you went to town on the cowbell. Are we doing it?